Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Drinking bleach to cure autism, the internet quacks making people seriously ill.
We will not go back! We will not go back!
Thousands on the streets across the US against abortion bans. And animals making themselves useful in today's Animals Doing Stuff. And top of our newsfeed, MMS. No, not multimedia messages, but miracle mineral solution. It's being touted by the quacks and crazies who populate parts of YouTube as a miracle cure. It is not. It's chlorine dioxide, industrial strength bleach, and it's been linked to at least 2 deaths. Now, YouTube is being called on to remove these videos entirely rather than just making them harder to search for. And I checked, and you can easily find videos touting MMS on Facebook. Here's Ezra.
Chlorine dioxide. It's a chemical used for bleaching and to kill germs. Studies have shown that ingesting the substance can damage the digestive system. So why are some parents using it as a cure for autism in their children? It all started when a man named Jim Humble took to YouTube and rebranded the chlorine dioxide as a miracle mineral solution, or MMS. The self-declared Archbishop of the Genesis 2 Church claims MMS can kill most of the diseases of mankind, from autism to cancer to malaria. His videos have been viewed millions of times and appear among YouTube's top search results for autism cure. His message then started getting shared on private Facebook groups and led to many parents performing the treatment on their children.
My son is constantly making a gasping sound.
He won't open his mouth. He screams, spits, flips over.
US drug regulators have warned there's no evidence MMS works, and its use has been linked to at least 2 deaths and 4 life-threatening cases. But doctors don't have a cure for autism, and desperate parents have increasingly turned to social media for alternatives. Similar misinformation and mistrust spread unchecked online led to the anti-vaccine movement and a measles outbreak in the US. YouTube has taken action to remove some of the MMS videos, but others have been unchanged. So what will it take people to listen to facts over fears?
All right, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media.
To explain the disparity in REO rates, do you know what an REO is?
An Oreo?
No, not an Oreo. An REO. REO.
Real estate?
What's the O stand for?
E organization?
Owned, real estate owned. That's what happens when a property goes to foreclosure. We call it an REO.
Well, this is the man hired by Donald Trump to run America's Housing and Urban Development Department. He has consistently shown himself to be unqualified, and in that clip exposes the fact that he knows nothing about his brief. But because nothing matters anymore, he later tweeted at the congresswoman who made him look stupid this picture of him holding Oreos. Who looks stupid now, eh, Mr. Carson? Yeah, still you. This year's Man Booker International Prize has been given to Joka Alathi. Her novel, Celestial Bodies, is the first Arabic book to win the award, which is considered the top honor for translated fiction. Alathi is the first woman from Oman to even have her work published in English. She'll share the prize with her translator, Marilyn Booth, who both get around $30,000. And hashtag First Cartoon Crush has been trending on Twitter as people reveal the animated characters they got feels for when they were kids. There are too many to choose from. Newsfeed picked out these ones: Moses from Prince of Egypt, Nala from The Lion King, and Ariel from Little Mermaid. Now, some states in America recently brought in very restrictive laws against abortion. The decisions by places like Alabama and Georgia are now being challenged by people on the other side of the debate, a debate that's divided the United States since the 1970s.
are preparing with our local attorneys, with our national attorneys, with our coalition partners, a comprehensive challenge to the many ways that this bill is unconstitutional and violates the fundamental constitutional rights of women in this country.
Well, the legislators in Alabama will not have the last word. Those legislators in Georgia will not have the last word. And just as it was in the civil rights movement, a governor from Alabama will not have the last word on our rights. And I'll tell you this, I'm happy to see everybody here, but fellas, to all the men that are here, we must wake up more men to join this fight.
To me, there shouldn't be no exemptions whatsoever because, you know, when is a simple question? When is it okay to kill a baby? Never, man.
Now, the battle for the control of Libya is continuing, and there have been accusations that one side tried to deprive civilians of access to water, something the UN considers a war crime. Time now for a look at the banking system in America and how it may be discriminating against the nation's Muslim citizens.
Without reason, they would get a letter in the mail stating that we no longer wish to do business with you and you have 30 days to move your money or we're going to send you a check with the remaining balance of your account.
Jessica's card was declined, her check card. The operator asked if I had gotten the mailer a few weeks prior. I said, yeah, but I didn't realize that was a real thing. And she's like, yeah, it was. So, and then she went on to ask me, are you a U.S. citizen? And, you know, I thought that was covered in the first 20 years I was with Bank of America.
But then when they go to transfer the money, now they're told that they can't. Now that they're told that they need a background check before they can send money, or they're told that they need banking statements before they're allowed to send money, and they have to go through a lot of extra steps just to be able to do a simple Western Union wire transfer.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, why do they care if I'm a citizen or have dual citizenship? They're not a government agency, at least not yet.
It affects our ability to run for office. It affects our ability to appropriately run charities and nonprofit organizations that give back not just to the Muslim community, but to other communities. It poses problems for Muslims to be able to provide and help support their family members who may still be residing overseas. And we find that all of these things are oftentimes linked to the unlawful, unnecessary intrusion of law enforcement and surveillance into the lives of the Muslim individuals.
Okay, so around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. A journalist has been murdered in Mexico, the 5th this year. That makes Mexico the deadliest place to report the news in the world. The man killed, Francisco Romero, had been reporting on gang violence in the resort town of Playa del Carmen. He was shot in the head outside of a beachfront bar. His life had been threatened recently and had been provided with security. They were not with him when he was killed. Nadege Dubois-Six is suing Boeing. Her husband died in the Ethiopian Airlines crash. She contends the aircraft maker knew their 737 MAX 8 plane was not safe after the Lion Air crash in Indonesia last year, and yet allowed the model to remain in service. The MAX 8 is currently not flying anywhere, and no airlines have ordered new ones since the crashes. The United Nations says that AI assistants with women's voices reinforce gender biases. Their report says that companies like Apple and Amazon, who make these devices, are overwhelmingly staffed by men, and they have built feminized digital assistants who speak in a catch-me-if-you-can flirtations, even in response to verbal abuse. The report adds this reinforces ideas of women as subservient. And Amazon's facial recognition technology Recognition is to be voted on by shareholders on Wednesday. Now, some want to stop Amazon from selling the software to governments. Rights groups say that proliferation of facial recognition tech will lead to mass surveillance, well, more mass surveillance than we're already under. Amazon says its software is benign and can help law enforcement. A man who was working as a Lyft and Uber driver in the United States has been ordered by a civil court to pay $500,000 for torturing a man in Somalia. Yusuf Abdi Ali was uncovered by CNN to be a military commander during Somalia's civil war in the 80s. He's accused of overseeing various war crimes. Ali hasn't been convicted of any crimes in his home country, but he has been sacked by both Uber and Lyft. It has been 30 years since events in Tiananmen Square changed China. A democracy protest was put down, and now one of the most famous images from that time, a man with a shopping bag facing down a tank, has been recreated in Taiwan. It was put together by a Taiwanese artist called Sheikh. The anniversary of Tiananmen Square is on the 4th of June. On to Bangladesh now, where we meet a Rohingya musician who's rediscovered the art he thought he had to leave behind when he fled genocide.
বর্মা তো দাই আসছে যে এটা আছে কোনো জিনিসটা আনিবার কোনো কিছু আনি নেওয়া পারি গাড়ির খবর কিন বাজার কিছু লই নেওয়া পারি দুটো বাজার আসে বেলা আসে বেলা বল দলে বেলা ফুল নেওয়া হয় আমরা বেশিরভাগে বৈঠক করিও বৈঠকের মাঝে বাজাই এটা আছে মানুষ হয় এনে বাজারেও আছে মানুষ আইয়ের আছে তো যে চা তারা খুশি আসি ঘরে বইয়ে চা দিয়ে দিয়ে তো যে বস্তার হয়ে গই তাহলে চিন্তা বেশি দম নয় যে ইয়া ঘর আছে বাড়ি আছে এগুলা খুব বেশি জলে হতারি.
And now in Animals Doing Stuff, we have a gang of goats giving back to humanity or nature or whatever. They've been deployed to New York's Riverside Park to munch as much of the green stuff that's there as possible. It's an environmental solution to clearing the weeds. Humans would normally dump chemicals on the invasive plants, but this way they get a meal and people get parts of their park back. Win-win. And that'll be all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.